morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Segal. I am the Bureau Chief in the Attorney General's Bureau of Criminal Justice. And as Rod explained, our Bureau does a lot of different types of criminal prosecution. We prosecute things like mortgage fraud and investment fraud, public integrity cases, even some of the first sex trafficking prosecutions in the state after the new human trafficking law went into effect. So we do a lot with relatively modest resources. We have about 20 prosecutors across the state with offices in Las Vegas, Carson City, and Reno, and we work very closely with Rod's investigative unit to investigate and prosecute cases. Today I'd like to just focus on one of the areas that we prosecute, and that is consumer fraud. And I'd like to give you kind of a little bit of a flavor of the kinds of cases that we see, just to give you an idea of what we do, and also to give you kind of a heads up about ways to avoid being a victim of a consumer fraud scam. So imagine you're at home, it's an evening, you're getting ready for dinner, and you get a phone call. And it's Agent Jones, and he's talking in a very serious voice. He's from the IRS, or he's from some state law enforcement agency, and he tells you that you owe the government a lot of money. And he's holding a warrant for your arrest in his hands, and he's ready to execute that warrant. But he's going to give you one more chance to pay your debt to the government. Now, you don't think you owe any money to the government. You pay your taxes, you do what you're supposed to do, but you certainly don't want to get arrested. He tells you that you owe $2,500 and that the police are about to head to your home to arrest you on this warrant for not paying. But if you'll go down to your local Western Union and wire $2,500 to an account that Agent Jones will provide to you, he'll call off the police. That's one of the scams that is, very prevalent that we're seeing, and it's either an IRS agent or it's an agent from an attorney general's office or some other government office. Nobody from the government is ever going to call you and demand money from you. No one's ever going to demand that you run down to the Western Union. But these scams work. They scare people, and they really do work. Another scam, you get a phone call, it's during the holiday season, it's from a charity, a cancer charity, or a charity that helps veterans, and they ask you for a donation. And they have a name that sounds like the name of a charity that you're familiar with. And when you say, well, I'm not sure, let me look into this, they play upon your emotions. And, don't you care about kids with cancer? Don't you care about veterans? Don't you want to help out? And they demand large donations. So that's a scam that we're seeing. So if you get a call like that, it's great to give money to charity, but be careful. Do not give money over the phone. Do not give in to high-pressure tactics like that. Those are telltale signs of a scam. If you want to give a donation, that's fantastic, but research the charity on your own. Make sure it's a legitimate, well-established charity before you give your money. Just one more that we see is you get a call, it's a sergeant from the jail, sometimes in a foreign country, maybe a jail in Tijuana. And they tell you that your grandson, is locked up in the jail, and he needs bail money to get out. And he's ashamed, he's embarrassed, he doesn't want you to contact his parents. He just needs you to go down to Western Union and wire money to an account to the jail so that he can get out of jail. You see a lot of that, and you think, well, I would never fall for that. But the truth is that there are a lot of people who they get taken off guard, they're scared. These people are very good at what they do, and they pressure people into wiring large amounts of money all over the place. So never, ever, ever, send money over the phone or give in to those types of pressure tactics. Always do your research and make sure that you know who you're dealing with before you send money. So those are the types of cases that our fraud unit is dealing with. Unfortunately, fraud is on the rise. Over the last 3 years, there's been a dramatic increase in the number of fraud complaints filed with the Federal Trade Commission, and a large rise in the number of complaints our office receives. Fortunately, under General Laxalt's leadership, we've really ramped up our ability to respond to these fraud cases. So in the last couple of years, the number of, we are now responding to about twice as many constituent complaints as we did just a couple of years ago. I think in 2015, we responded to over 950 constituent complaints of fraud, and that's probably the tip of the iceberg, because a lot of people don't report fraud. Our prosecutions that we've initiated have increased 53% in General Laxalt's first year in office, and I expect that trend to continue as well. And we are getting more felony convictions, and we're getting better sentences. When I first joined the office about 6 years ago, it was pretty rare for us to get a significant prison sentence in a fraud case. Now we're doing that on a regular basis. As the cases are serious, we are arguing them aggressively in court, we're prosecuting them aggressively, and we are getting significant prison sentences. I think in General Laxalt's first year in office, we had two 20-year prison sentences. And that's good, because it not only takes serious criminals who prey upon our citizens off the streets, but it sends a powerful message of deterrence to others that they're not going to get away with defrauding the citizens of Nevada. So our mission is clear. In the fraud unit, we are here to protect the citizens and small businesses of Nevada from fraud. We are working that very aggressively. We were able to bring in some reinforcements. Recently, we were able to get approval to add 2 additional senior level prosecutors and a number of investigators to our unit to fight the increase in fraud. And the good news is, well, there's 2 good. First, it's going to increase our ability to combat fraud. And the second really good thing about it is it doesn't involve $1 of taxpayer money. We're able to find funding through settlements that our office has negotiated. So we're really ramping up our ability to fight fraud and protect the citizens of Nevada.